Hey, you all, it is Justine Gonzalez, one of your teachers and guides on the official Educator Aide YouTube channel. And here on this channel, we dive into topics under the umbrellas of culture, leadership, and communications. They're all really big topics, so there's a lot of directions we could go. And you subscribing and engaging with the content and leaving us comments about what you want more of will really help us to refine these little trainings, workshops, and free high level, high value content for you. So let's dive into the topic of this particular little training, I guess a mini training, so to speak, but it's on a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And it is this, and I'm asking this question: are you time poor? We're under 2 weeks actually into 2023 as I'm filming this. And one of the biggest things I'm seeing with my executive level coaching clients is that there is already this very harried, almost chaotic energy that I see many entering 2023 with, and I'm just wondering why. So I'm going to dive right in here, and you're going to get the full details on my calendar as well. So I am queuing that up for you as we speak. But the question I'm putting out there is, are you time poor? And I think that the bigger thing behind that is, let's dive into prioritization and how you manage your time, because none of us can make more hours or minutes in a day. None of us can make more days in a week. None of us can make more weeks in a year. So because of the structures and systems we have, what we can learn how to do is to really maximize our efficiency, and also our time blocking capabilities. And one thing that I have become very clear on is how I want to utilize my time as a founder and CEO of a thriving consulting firm. And I will tell you, this has been quite the transition. I do not do this alone, meaning I have a large support network, and I have since I started my company. Now, another story for another day. I did not resign from my last position 6 years ago with any money in the bank at all, barely, like $2,000 to my name, basically, as far as cash. There was a lot I didn't know about. I talk very candidly about this, especially on my Instagram page. And I'd like to do some more videos here too. If you all would like, let me know in the comments. But I would not recommend to anybody to begin an organization or starting their company or journey of entrepreneurship in that way, because it has definitely been difficult, especially if you don't have investors or resources. It's been very difficult at times. But again, I have not done this alone. I have not learned these skills of time blocking alone. I was a K-12 teacher and assistant principal, as well as principal, then superintendent. All of my career, I started teaching when I was 21 years old. So until I started my consulting firm, and I had also done some training over the years as well as a trainer, not just K-12 education, but had worked in some other spaces too. So all this to say, I'm giving you a little background context about me and my own personal journey, because not everybody's journey is the same. And as much context as I can share with you, my hope is that you can connect with some point that I make, and that it's relevant to you. So I'm actually going to go ahead and talk through one strategy, and then also let you unpack my calendar for how I usually end up calendaring different things. So, and all of this, I say this about being time poor because we have to accept the things we can't control. So like I just said earlier, we can't force more minutes into our day. What we can do is become an alchemist, so to speak, with how we navigate time and how we play with it and how we leverage our skills, talents, and abilities to be able to do that. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to show you one of my weeks, actually, the week after Thanksgiving is when I'm going to show you an example of my calendar and some of the things that I had going on. Just very briefly going to flash it for you so you can get an idea. This was also 1 week before I literally moved into my first home with my longtime partner. in another state. So I will let you know, there's an art. There's an art to time blocking as well as managing your time to leverage it as a tool, and something that I was very, very bad at for years. So let me let you in on the strategy. This is just something you can simply do on your own. And one of my first principal mentors taught me, she did one school visit and she was like, what, how are you going to get anything accomplished? Your to-do lists are like a million items. How are you going to do anything effectively? And she gave me some really tough advice, but also a strategy that has stuck with me since then. And there's actually even entire apps that help you with this if you're more of an app person. I tend to love that satisfaction, as many of you probably do too, of checking something off or crumpling up that to-do list or task list. And today I'm talking about when you begin the day in the morning, whether you are reporting to a cubicle or an at-home desk, or you're on site somewhere, either way, taking about 3 minutes really to gather your thoughts and think about, on this day, if I accomplish nothing else today, and I've looked at my calendar, I know what's on my ongoing task list, if I do nothing else, I must accomplish these 3 rocks. And I call them that because many of you might be familiar with the visualization of a jar and putting in sand and pebbles and then trying to stuff in a couple big rocks. And then you see the reverse modeling of this where you put in the big rocks first, and then the sand and the pebbles all fall into place. So I'm saying this because she literally gave me the strategy of, I take 3 Post-its and I write those 3 things that I've prioritized. And when I get to the end of my day or as I complete them, I can look at it and go, yes, I accomplished. It's an easy metric, an easy measurable to hold yourself accountable. Perhaps it's a Saturday and it's just, I want to cook a meal that lasts me the next 2 days, and I want to do 2 loads of laundry, and I want to read a book. I don't know, whatever your goals are, you don't have to categorize them necessarily, but it's a great mind exercise. And I realize, especially because I am a person who can be all over the place. I have a lot of ideas, my brain goes really fast. And this has been a great practice for me for over a decade now, of something that not only helped me as a school leader, it has helped sustain me actually even more as an entrepreneur. So that satisfaction of being able to crumple up or tear up those Post-its, those 3 at the end of the day, is a great feeling. Also with anything, if it's not working for you anymore or you need to switch it up, this is also a suggestion of, this might be how you could switch it up. If you're not getting the same satisfaction of just crossing something off, how do you switch that up for you so it feels like, okay, I'm being motivated and I'm making progress with some of my little goals, or my daily priorities. So that is the first strategy. The next thing I'm going to do, as promised, to close this out, I'll give you an idea of, this was right after Thanksgiving in the United States. So right after the Thanksgiving holiday, and then moving into, oh, pardon me, let's get on the right screen. And then moving into some major winter holidays, as well as, like I detailed, I was coordinating a big move. So every Monday, you see my little motivation notes to myself, right? But every Monday, essentially, I am meeting with my team. That is a non-negotiable for me. You could also see I do put little reminders and notes to myself on my calendar. And I also have a color coding system that works for me, as well as some essential reminders. So I am very much a color-based person, and it helps me remember kind of the categories I have and what those things represent. This was actually an out-of-town trip in Indianapolis, Indiana, with somebody that, a school district partner I work with. So even in the midst of an out-of-town trip for 2 days that week, I still have left some time blocks. And so I want to talk a little bit about that and how, uh-oh, am I back? Oh, I think I'm back. But I want to talk a little bit about how that plays into how we manage our time, because one of the things I found about myself, and I apologize if you can't see my video, I'm not seeing it over here anymore, but I know you can hear me. So one of the things that I did realize about myself is that initially as an entrepreneur, so this would have been over 6 years ago, I didn't quite grasp how I should be because I had come out of only working for employers, large public school districts in particular. I was very used to a lot of every second being squeezed out of every day, not even having time for bathroom breaks in some cases, like just things that I think we can all be guilty of at times. But I'm here to encourage you that you do not have to be time poor in 2023. You are the master of your domain, so to speak. And that it became for me realizing that I would often try to cram things and not even give myself adequate recovery time between Zoom meetings. I was pushing way too many things back to back instead of padding it. And you might look back at that and say, wow, Justine, you had quite a few open spaces. Well, there's some things that I delete, right? If I complete it. And then there's other things that I know, like the Tuesday before I left for that Wednesday, Thursday out of town trip, that consulting trip. I knew that I would be preparing for that. And there were some other odds and ends, admin wise, I needed to accomplish for my move from a personal level. So I hope that this gave you some ideas about how I use it. Again, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. We're going to be bringing you so many valuable pieces of content like this in 2023. Leave in the comments what you want. If you want to know more about my color coding system and what all that means, whatever you find beneficial, let me know, and we'll see you next time.